Hi everyone, it's time for another Beatles update. It's been quite a while since I did one. And I wanted to play something in the background on my turntable, and I figured, well, how am I going to do that if I want to show you the record? Because I want to show you what the disc looks like. But then I realized, hey, you know what? I know how to edit now finally, so I can always show the record, then later on edit it playing. So here we go. It's this album. It's Buddy Morrow and his orchestra, Beatlemania, big band, the big hits of 1964. So there's songs on here not just by the Beatles, but by other people too. I mean, you got Please Please Me, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Roll Over Beethoven, then you got Bits and Pieces by the Dave Clark Five, All My Loving, back to the Beatles. You got something here just called Bonnie, which I think is My Bonnie. Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. She Loves You, Twist and Shout, Can't Buy Me Love. Then we have The Searchers, Needles and Pins, and Dave Clark Five, Glad All Over Again. And I saw her standing there by the Beatles afterwards. I'm going to show you why. Well, the reason I wanted to show the disc and not just play the record was because it's on a white label promo on Epic Records, which I thought was really nice. I don't come across that all the time. And what I'm going to do is pause the camera right now and play the record. Okay, here we go. Okay, the first thing that I want to show here is a CD, I don't know what it's called, CD3, a CD3 single, which contains 2 songs on it. It's got the Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You single. And it's still in its long box, sealed, original, but while I'm probably going to keep the long box to this, I'm not really concerned with it being sealed, so let's do one of those sealed to reveal kind of things here where I actually open the shrink. I'll get there. Alright, here we go. So there's the box, which I'm going to hold on to. Don't really know which way this opens from. Let's try the bottom first. That wasn't such a good idea. Let's do the top. I think the music, with me struggling, really kind of accommodates the situation. There it is. Really tiny. Not even the size of a regular CD. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really small. And I guess it opens up like, there we go. Oop, wow. Really tiny CD in there. It's got 2 songs on it. It's a little tiny CD. That's interesting. It's a nice little piece to have. I saw somebody came into my store once and had the version of this. I don't know if it was, he had another one. It wasn't this one. It might have been, oh, I don't know, For Me to You maybe? Maybe There's a Place. I don't remember. Okay, so we got that taken care of. Before I get into the vinyl, I have another CD I want to show you. And I was happy to find this one. It's Paul McCartney from the Run Devil Run album. It's a single, No Other Baby. Put it closer. No Other Baby and Brown Eyed Handsome Man. And I like the packaging of that, the way it's made to look like the old style, you know, 50s records. And then in the back, it's also got a bonus track on it called Fabulous. So these are all cover songs. And inside just has it has some stuff telling you about No Other Baby, and released in 1958 by a British skiffle group called the Vipers, and Brown Eyed Handsome Man, of course, Chuck Berry. And of course, it's got that wonderful Parlophone label, that purple label, which is really cool. I've always liked it. The CD, it's interesting because it's kind of clear, which I like that. I like the design on this. And Something I really didn't count on when I got this was that on the side here, the inside pocket, it's got a poster of Paul, which I've already opened up once, and it's kind of frail. I decided I'm actually not going to keep this in the CD. I usually don't hang up posters and things from albums and things, but this one I think I'm going to hang up somewhere. And I think the reason is because it's kind of unique, and I'd like to put it somewhere on one of the walls here if I could find space, or make new space. I know this is one of these slow days, right? That's the beauty of fast forwarding. Picture of Paul looking like Elvis. And I think I'm going to hang this up. I really like the uniqueness of it. So we'll just place that on the side. Now we'll get into the vinyl that I got. I have one 45 here, and the rest I'm pretty sure are all 12-inch records. The 45, this is a Say picture sleeve from the UK. There's no real difference between this and the US one that I have, but of course the record is, without taking it out, you know, it's got the little spindle hole from the UK in it. Okay, now this was something, you know, one of those albums that I had been waiting a long time to find in really good condition. I saw many copies of this over the years, but why get something that's not perfect or as close to perfect as I can get? So it was this. It was the mono version of the Help album, the US Help album. I have the stereo version, but I really wanted to get this, and this is going to be the source of another video I'm going to try to make soon, if I can, and I'll explain as I go along here. I had to polish this up a little bit. It wasn't as clean as it looks because there was, you know, some ring wear, a little bit of dirt in between the white areas here in the Beatles. And I always love showing the gatefold. We all know the gatefold, but it's always fun to look at it. But the video that I'm going to make is going to be another way to clean records, which I don't know if anybody else has this. There used to be a product out there called I don't know the name, but I'm going to show it when I go to my video store later and make a video of it. Glass cleaner. It was like a kind of like in a pink can. My grandmother used to use it. The record stores got a few cans of this left with very little bit in all the cans. It's only got like 3 or 4 cans around the shop, very little. And it's a pink kind of liquid. It cleans windows and glass. And they took it off the market. It was old. They don't make these anymore, these cans. But the owner of the store taught me that when you can clean albums like the Beatles' White Album, anything where there's white, by putting that waxy glass cleaner, what you're basically doing is the dirt comes right off with that stuff, and you're basically waxing the cover. Now, I know that sounds like horrific to a lot of people, but you know, you never know what's been going on with your records before you bought them, right? You don't usually see a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but I mean, what's the harm? It looks beautiful. It's very shiny and it's like white again. So I'm happy with it. I'm sold. The record, you know, it's on the original Capitol. I guess I won't pull it out because it's backwards in here. Well, you know, the label, Capitol label. But I was a little concerned because the record itself looked a little scuffy, and I just realized I have to ask him when I go back. He was going to give me an original colored inner sleeve to match up with this, and I got to get that. This is a generic white sleeve. But the whole thing about it is that the record looked a little scuffed in spots, and I, you know, gave it a good cleaning on the VPI record machine, and then I played it. It played fine. You don't hear anything. Just visually, there's a couple of scuffs on it. You know, he didn't have a better disc in the store to match up with it. Okay. Now the next one that I'm going to show. The next one that I'm going to show is something that I showed in one of my videos. Maybe nobody remembers. There's one of my hanging out at the record store videos. I went to another record store and I found this. It was a reissue of the Beatles Australian album, Beatles for Sale, and I always like them when they have different covers. You know. Now I've since learned that this came from a collection of, I believe it was a box set of reissues from Australia. So this is, I knew it wasn't an original from the 60s, that of course I knew, but I thought maybe it was a 70s repress. It's on orange. I'm pretty sure this came from a box set, if there is such a thing. People who are in Australia maybe can tell me. You know, that kind of like dampened it a little for me, because I wouldn't mind a 70s reissue, but if it's a later, maybe the box set is from the 70s. I don't know how recent it is. It's in great condition. But what they do is they pull the albums out. Very often, you know, they pull them out of the box set and sell them individually. They make more money that way, the dealers, instead of selling the whole box. They do that. So I really don't know. I'm not thrilled with this, in other words. It's in great shape, and I'm happy to have it in a way. But to think that it just might have come out from the box set, of a reissue set, I don't know. Somehow that puts a little damper on it. Okay. Next item here is something I had in my, what I call my original collection that I used to have in the 70s and early 80s, before I sold everything. And it's a bootleg album, really inferior. And it purely for nostalgic purposes. It's called Last Live Show. And don't believe everything you read. It's not the last live show. What this actually is the 1965 Shea Stadium concert, and it's not right from the soundboard or anything. What this is the film. If anybody out there saw the Shea Stadium film ever, that was released, I think it might have been in 66 or 67 in the US. It might have, all I know is the actual film bits with Ed Sullivan introducing the band and the songs and some of the talking and stuff. That's all this is the actual film of the Shea Stadium concert on a record. And there's no frills with the record. You know, these old bootlegs, plain white label. Okay. Next item is an import album. It's a UK import of Wings at the Speed of Sound, in pretty nice condition. Original 1976. And the record is the standard label for this album. Trying to get it the right way. It's a nice label. Okay, this is kind of an upgrade, you might say. You know, people out there that I'm kind of always searching to get albums in their shrink wrap when I can find them with the hype sticker labels. I love that. And here's a solo album I needed in better shape, and it's George Harrison's 33 1/3. It's in the shrink wrap, and it has the label. Includes the single, this song. So this was an upgrade for me. Glad to get that. Let's stick with George Harrison for the remainder of this video. There's only a couple of more items. Here's another inferior bootleg. I'm going to pull it out of here, get a better look at it. A lot like the last cover we saw of the live Beatles show on green photocopy paper. It's called Bangladesh. And I almost wasn't going to even bother with this, but it was so cheap. It was so cheap. And I put the record on just for the fun of it. And it's useless. It's a record on Bang Records. Bang. You don't get much bang for your buck here. Basically, I'm thinking that this is an album that came out before the actual official 1971 or 2, when it probably came out in 72, the box set that we all know of, the concert for Bangladesh. This was probably a bootleg, early bootleg before that was out, and that's the reason I wanted. I thought it was interesting as a curio for that. The sound quality's terrible. I played it. It's like an audience copy. You know, it was good that they finally released it for real, because this is inferior in every way. But there was something about the cover picture I liked on it. I really liked the photo, and the fact that it's one of those archival kind of primitive things from the old days of collecting. And you know, if it was expensive, or you know, I wouldn't have bothered with it. But the fact that it was so affordably cheap, it was a good curio. Here's the last item I'm going to show for this video. It's another George Harrison item. It's sheet music from Crackerbox Palace. And it's a really weird picture. He looks a little, reminds me a little of Mark Bolan from T-Rex in this picture, you know. And I don't know if the history is true or not, but the guy told me that this was supposedly a rare sheet music shot because George didn't like the picture here, or somebody didn't like the picture, and it was redone with a different cover. So this is the rare cover. Yeah, I collect memorabilia, and I like it. I like this song, Crackerbox Palace, so that's the last item. Now, I'm going to make another video right away that's going to be spotlighting non-Beatles pickups that I've gotten recently, and I hope you'll watch that too. Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching, as always.